Hello everyone, welcome to the Twilight Executor channel. I'm Maestroke, and today we have a macro PvT game with a focused emphasis on disruptors later in the game. Alright, replays from Horizons as usual. So let's beat up there. Goes for the normal gate expand, so 14 pylon, 16 gateway, 17 gas, and then sorry, that sounds kind of loud and it was kind of distracting. 19 Nexus and a 20 Cybercore. So yeah, it's pretty. This game is actually pretty passive for the early most part. So I'll try and skip to the most significant parts of the game. Yeah, get the scout off. Yep. Notice how he kept his Adept and Mothership core in the main for a bit. That's mainly to hold against any kind of Reaper harass. So pylon overcharge any of the two pylons, 2 shots Reaper, Adept Wizard just in case you need to chase down the Reaper. And there weren't that many probes. There weren't that many probes earlier, so if the Reaper did hit, would only be doing damage to the Nexus. So yeah. Let's speed it back up again. Pylon at the front in case of any frontal aggression. Add on. Okay. So he takes his third gas, which usually you don't do, but since he wanted to go for an early forge, he took the third gas. Usually you want to take your 2 gases for your natural right after you throw down your third nexus. But I took it early so you can get upgrades. Also, he built 1 observer, so you know what the Terran's doing. You aren't caught by surprise by like any strange aggression or anything else, any weird builds. So yeah. Let's see. Speed up some more. Start +1 as soon as it's done. Yeah. So he's just chilling at the front right now. Meanwhile, Marjada, the blue Terran, dropped in the dark corner of his base and then came in. He takes out this pylon, so that's mainly why you want to have. Why you don't want Artosis pylons. It's because if he takes out this one pylon, his +1 would have been delayed, and he also would have been missing like a good 2/3 of his production, and his blink's already done. So, but if he was researching something, that'd be delayed as well. So yeah, picks up and goes, tries to bring the medevac down low as possible in case the medevac ever comes back with another drop. It'll be easier for him to take it out. Builds a cannon in his mineral line as well, probably for Widowmine drops or other drops as well. So you can get detection and some kind of defense against drops. Then goes for a third after his natural is oversaturated, and goes for the assimilator at the same time. Remember pylon at every one of your bases so you can warp in easily. Also, blue Terran tries to deny the third base, which he succeeds and he's forced to cancel, but he manages to snipe the medevac by blinking. So that's why you want blink early game. It helps you counter the medevac's flying ability, so you can blink over obstacles and stuff like that. Also puts a pylon on the high ground so you can see if they drop down there as well. Also throws down 3 gates at the same time. Usually you want to add down 4. I'm not sure why you put down 3 this time. So on the ship core, usually you want that to be patrolling somewhere, so it maintains the velocity. It doesn't have to accelerate from resting. Also throws down his first tech option, which is robotics based, since we're focusing on disruptors. So you want your first tech option, and 4 gateways down, and your forge down after you get your third down. So yeah. If you saturate your nat really fast, you could. Here's what I was talking about for the Widowmine drop. He puts a probe there just in case it locked on and fired before he was able to kill it. But as I was saying, usually if you get your nat saturated, you can add on another 2 gates, and then put down your third and then add on another 2 gates, just for that increased production for a bit. just in case anything weird happens and he attacks before your third's done. Anyways, this is part where he tries to be aggressive. And also tries to scout out like what this guy's doing. He wants to see if there's a third base, see if he can deny any bases at the same time. So he walks around here, looks to Hallucination Phoenix and sends him around. He sees everything with the Phoenix actually. Sees a third. Sees that, yeah. So he goes back to base and he builds a second robotics bay, which you also want to get down eventually when after your third is down. So robotics bay is done. Yeah, now he's producing disruptors. Usually you want to produce 2 at a time. Yeah, it's kind of slow. Nothing happens for a bit. It's a very passive game, like I said. It's how they managed to get to the macro stage. Because they didn't kill each other outright. Yeah. Alright. Even though he has 2 disruptors right now, he doesn't want to be aggressive quite yet. Mainly because... think of like disruptors as a revolver. Having like a revolver with 2 shots, if you miss 2 shots, the other guy's gonna kill you. Just outright. Terran could beat an army of this size easily. Except for maybe the depths. The depths are actually kind of very tanky for their cost and stuff like that, but yeah. Against armies of similar size, the Terran will usually win. So these disruptors will balance that out. And disruptors have 2 uses. One is before the engagement, they can use their disruptors balls to zone out the enemy. So they won't be taking engagements that aren't favorable to you. So you won't be surrounded or anything like that. So you just want to zone them out. Second, after the enemy has committed to a fight, you can fire them, and the enemy will have to micro all his units back. Or just like take damage and lose most of them. So yeah, let's continue on. You'll see examples of it later. So it sends another Phoenix for scouting. You really, really want map vision at any level of play, actually. It's really nice to have. Keeps building disruptors, keep building units. Remember to balance your probes on each of your bases. Try to also throw down turrets at every base, so you don't, because your army as Protoss is very immobile. You want something that can hold the enemy. Well, you either move your army back or can actually just hold off enemies outright. So like 1 counter here can hold off a medevac. It's actually very annoying to deal with. 2 here. There's another one there. This one's probably total off drops on the cliff here. So, whoops. Let's play that. So at this point he takes his 4th base at around 9 minutes. Terran usually... you will always want to stay ahead of the Terran by at least 1 base. Usually. Because as long as you have a 1 base advantage, it's a very big advantage. Now he has 4 disruptors, he's pretty much good to go. He's probably waiting for 2 more. Because he told me he feels like the magic number is 6 disruptors. So that's understandable. So you can zone out at the same time. So yeah, he's using the disruptor ball to zone out, to stop the Terran from coming any closer. Sends out another one. He has 6 disruptors at this point. He can afford to throw out a few balls just for zoning. Tries to blink and take out a medevac. Falls back a little bit. Sends out another disruptor ball. Like if you look at these, he always has 1 disruptor ball available for a fight, even though he's zoning out at the same time. So let's see. Skip. At this point, Terran has a really big army, and he also has Liberators. So Liberators are pretty much the Terran zoning tool. Because fighting under the Liberators is not a good idea unless you have a lot of Stalkers that can just focus fire down the Liberators. Also, he sends Zealots out to the Zelnaga towers for vision. Like I said, vision is very important at all levels of play. You don't want to be caught by surprise by anything. Another disruptor ball for zoning. Then he gets in a good position between the Terran's army and the 4th. This is what I meant by try to deny your opponent's bases by either killing them outright or forcing them to having defend those bases while they also have to take an unfavorable engagement. So as you can see here, even though the Liberators are down, blue has to engage. Let me rewind that back a little bit. Slow that down. So here, he has to engage here, or lose his 4th command center, which is a very big investment. Well, also, although he has the Liberators up, Horizons also has Stalkers shooting at the Liberators too as well. So this is what I meant by unfavorable engagement. He shoots 1 Disruptor Ball, Blue is forced to fight. So he has to either spread his units, or just try to like not fight him at all. And here's something else. One problem with the Disruptor is that it follows A move commands as move, since they don't have a basic attack. So if you A move to behind your enemy, they'll probably just walk to the front of your army. They'll just get eliminated very, very fast. Here's another one. Blows up a lot of the enemy. So you just want to keep shooting out these Disruptor shots, because they're very good for trading. They actually pay for themselves very, very fast. That's another good one. So use whatever abilities you have to even up the playing field. Try to deny as much as you can. So you're just trying to keep the army away. Fires another Disruptor Ball. Yeah, pretty much cleaned up, but the 4th base is still down and it's actually burning. So this actually has to force him to either send SCVs to repair or send mules down. So I think he sent his mules down to repair, yeah. I don't think SCVs would have made it in time. So he's forced to save his 4th base. Horizon still goes and tries to contest it a bit more. I think that Mothership Core might have been a mistake. Miscontrol there. But here's something else. Disruptors can't move while they're shooting. So you want to keep them at the back for another reason, so the enemy has to walk through your army to kill the Disruptor at the back. Otherwise they just die. And then you pretty much just wasted 150 for no reason. So he sends reinforcements over it, but he's forced to fall back. Marauders are just too good at this game. So yeah, moves back, warps in, macro some more. Also, you want to research, you want to open up your tech paths. So he gets Templar Archives. He researches Charged, and he got a 2nd Forge behind all of this. He's also built more warp gates. You want to build more warp gates while you're expanding. And he's also remaining he's balancing his probes relatively well. So across all 4 of his bases. Let's press play again. Yeah, lost the 4th CC, so he's forced to rebuild that. Meanwhile, Horizon's lost all his Disruptors, so he has to rebuild that too, so yeah. Speed it up a bit. Round. Yeah, that looks right. So here's another engagement. See, when the enemy like commits and starts attacking your forces, what you'll notice like that the enemy will actually spread out a bit. So that's when you want to throw your Disruptor Ball, because they'll have to move back and take lots of damage while doing so. So he blinks his Stalkers forwards, tries to snipe whatever he can, because he knows he can. He has enough units. Sends another Disruptor Ball, takes out a whole chunk. So that's why you want to keep him at the back. He has 3 Disruptors now, but Terran's using Liberators. What you just gotta do is just walk around. Don't fight in the Liberator zones, it's not worth it. He sends another Disruptor Ball to zone Terran out of his own Liberator zone, but at this point, lose a few Disruptors, because Disruptors are weird. So yeah, wipe out the Liberators from the side. Meanwhile, his Adepts are doing damage at the front. Stalkers should hopefully take out the Liberators, yeah. And he's pretty much just got more units than the Terran can handle at this point, even without the Disruptors, and it's GG. So yeah. Disruptors, you want to serve 2 functions, zoning and damage in fights. Also get Blink, I forgot to mention that earlier actually. Blink against Terran, so you can blink to hold medevac drops easier, so you can go over obstacles. Cannons to defend your bases. Not sure what else. Expand tech paths. Expand your production and tech up after your 3rd. That's something else too. Add another Robo Bay. Just keep building Disruptors, because they're really good if you can trade efficiently with them. And yeah, I think that's it for this video. So thanks for watching, guys. If you liked the video, feel free to pop in a like there, or if you dislike the video, feel free to dislike it as well. If you do dislike it, it'd be nice if you could comment on why you disliked it, so I can improve these videos in the future, and see you guys next time.